Today, we're delving into the world of one of the most beloved spring flowers, the tulip. With their vibrant colors and elegant shapes, tulips have captured the hearts of people around the world and have a rich history in garden cultivation. In this video, we'll guide you through the rewarding process of planting tulip bulbs. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting out, you'll find that planting tulips is a straightforward and enjoyable process. By the end of this guide, you'll be well equipped to create a stunning display of tulips in your garden, ready to burst into life come spring. Before we dive into the planting process, let's understand what tulip bulbs are and their significance in the world of gardening. Unlike seeds, tulip bulbs are storage units for the plant. Each bulb contains everything needed for the plant to sprout and bloom. Essentially, a bulb is a self-contained flower waiting for the right conditions to grow. Tulips belong to the genus Tulipa and are renowned for their vibrant colors and diverse forms. Originating from Central Asia, they became a symbol of wealth and elegance in Holland during the 17th century, sparking a period known as tulip mania. Today, they remain a symbol of spring, renewal, and vibrant beauty in gardens worldwide. There are numerous types of tulips, classified into different categories based on their bloom time and flower shape. Some common types include single early tulips are known for their classic tulip shape and early spring bloom. They have strong stems, making them great for windy or rainy areas. Double late tulips have lush, peony-like blooms in late spring and come in various colors. Triumph tulips are a versatile mid-season bloomer with a traditional shape, available in almost every color imaginable. Darwin hybrid tulips, renowned for their large blooms and sturdy stems, these tulips are excellent for cutting. Parrot tulips are noted for their ruffled, feather-like petals. These tulips offer a unique texture and are late bloomers. And understanding the different types of tulips can help you choose the right variety for your garden based on bloom time, color, and shape preferences. The best time to plant tulip bulbs is in the fall, a few weeks before the ground freezes. The bulbs need a period of cold dormancy to bloom, which makes fall planting essential. The exact timing can vary depending on your climate, but generally, it's best to plant when soil temperatures fall below 60 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 degrees Celsius. A common question is how to tell the top of the bulb from the bottom. The pointed end of the bulb is the top, where the leaves and flowers will emerge. The flatter, more rounded end is the bottom, where the roots will grow. It's crucial to plant bulbs with the pointed end up for proper growth. Now that we're familiar with the tulip bulbs and their types, the next critical step is choosing the ideal location and preparing the soil for planting. The right conditions are crucial for the bulbs to flourish and produce those stunning spring blooms. Tulips thrive in areas that receive full sun for most of the day. Choose a spot in your garden that gets at least 6 hours of direct sunlight daily. Sunlight is a key factor in the development of tulips. It contributes to the vibrancy of their colors and the sturdiness of their stems. If your garden has a lot of shade, look for the sunniest spots, perhaps near fences or along pathways, as these are often great candidates for tulip planting. Ideal soil conditions are just as important as the right location. Tulips prefer well-draining soil, as standing water or overly wet conditions can lead to bulb rot and fungal diseases. A sandy loam soil is best because it provides the drainage tulips need while retaining enough moisture to keep the bulbs healthy. If your soil is heavy clay or too sandy, you'll need to amend it. For clay soils, mix in sand and compost to improve drainage. For sandy soils, add compost or peat moss to increase nutrient content and moisture retention. A balanced soil will have a crumbly texture and should not clump together too tightly or fall apart too loosely. Preparing your planting area involves removing weeds, stones, and debris. This clearing is crucial as it ensures the tulips have unobstructed growth and reduces the risk of root damage. Till the soil to a depth of about 12-15 inches as tulips need deep, loose soil to develop their roots effectively. It's also a good opportunity to mix in any soil amendments and ensure a consistent soil texture. When it comes to soil pH, tulips are quite adaptable, but they generally prefer slightly acidic to neutral soil with a pH of about 6.0 to 7.0. You can test your soil's pH with a home testing kit available at most garden centers. If the pH is too high or too low, amend your soil accordingly using lime to raise pH or sulfur to lower pH. With an understanding of tulip bulbs and having prepared the ideal planting location, we now move on to the exciting part: planting the bulbs. The timing and method of planting are key factors in ensuring a beautiful bloom come spring. Tulip bulbs should be planted in the fall, several weeks before the ground freezes. This timing allows the bulbs to establish roots before winter. In general, you want to aim for when the soil temperature is below 60 degrees Fahrenheit or 15 degrees Celsius but not yet frozen. Depending on your geographical location, this typically falls between September and November. In warmer climates, where temperatures don't drop as low, you may need to pre-chill your bulbs in a refrigerator for 6 to 8 weeks before planting. Begin by digging holes or a trench where your bulbs will be planted. The depth at which you plant tulip bulbs is important. A good rule of thumb is to plant bulbs at a depth 3 times their height. This is usually about 6 inches deep for standard-sized tulip bulbs. Deeper planting helps protect the bulbs from temperature fluctuations and reduces the chance of being eaten by animals. Spacing is another critical aspect. Plant tulip bulbs about 6 inches apart from each other. Proper spacing allows each tulip enough room to grow without competing for nutrients and water. If you're planting in a group or cluster, ensure there's enough space between each bulb while keeping them close enough to create a full, lush appearance when they bloom. Place the bulbs in the holes with the pointed end facing up. This is the end where the stem and flower will emerge. If it's hard to tell which end is which, look for the root remnants, which are generally on the flatter side of the bulb and should face downward. After placing the bulbs at the correct depth and orientation, cover them with soil. Gently firm the soil to ensure there are no air pockets, which can cause the bulbs to dry out. Water the newly planted area thoroughly to settle the soil and provide moisture needed for the bulbs to start rooting. Once planted, tulip bulbs don't require a lot of maintenance, especially during the winter. The initial watering is usually sufficient until the spring, as too much water during their dormant phase can lead to rot. The natural winter precipitation typically provides enough moisture. After planting your tulip bulbs, a proper care regimen is crucial to ensure a vibrant bloom in the spring. Let's explore the essentials of watering, sunlight exposure, and pest control. Watering tulip bulbs correctly is key to their development. Immediately after planting, give them a good soak to help establish the roots. This initial watering is crucial, especially if there's no rain forecasted. However, once this is done, tulips require very little water during the fall and winter, as overwatering can lead to bulb rot. The natural precipitation in most climates is usually sufficient during these seasons. As the bulbs start to sprout in the spring, you can begin to water them more regularly. This is especially important in drier climates or during particularly dry springs. The soil should be kept moist but not waterlogged. Once the tulips have bloomed, you can reduce watering as the plants begin to enter dormancy post-bloom. Tulips need plenty of sunlight to flourish. The location chosen for planting should provide at least 6 hours of direct sunlight per day. This exposure is essential for the development of strong stems and vibrant blooms. If your garden has partial shade, don't worry. Tulips can tolerate light shade, especially in hotter climates, as it can help protect them from intense afternoon heat. Tulips can attract a variety of pests, including aphids, slugs, and rodents like squirrels and voles, which can dig up and eat the bulbs. To prevent this, consider physical barriers like wire mesh or use natural repellents. Additionally, practicing good garden hygiene by removing debris and maintaining healthy soil can help prevent diseases and pests. Some tulips can be susceptible to fungal diseases, especially in wet conditions. To avoid this, ensure your soil is well draining as mentioned in the soil preparation section. Avoid overhead watering, which can leave moisture on the leaves and petals, creating an environment conducive to fungal growth. In colder regions, adding a layer of mulch after planting can provide extra insulation for the bulbs during winter. This helps in maintaining a consistent soil temperature and moisture level, protecting the bulbs from freeze-thaw cycles that can push them to the surface. Winter transitions into spring. Anticipation grows for the tulip bulbs planted to transform into beautiful blooms. Let's discuss what to expect as the bulbs grow, how to care for the tulips post-bloom, and considerations for aftercare. When spring arrives, you'll first notice green shoots emerging from the soil, a sign that your tulips are on their way. Depending on the variety and your climate, tulips typically bloom from early to late spring. The first blooms are a rewarding sight, marking the success of your planting efforts. As the tulips bloom, enjoy their vibrant colors and shapes. They typically remain in bloom for about 1-3 weeks, depending on the weather conditions. Cooler temperatures can prolong the bloom period, while warmer weather may shorten it. After the tulips have bloomed, the care you provide them is crucial for their life cycle and preparation for the next season. Once the blooms have faded, deadhead the tulips by cutting off the flower heads. This prevents the plants from using energy to produce seeds and instead directs it to the bulb for next year's growth. It's important to leave the foliage in place until it turns yellow and dies back naturally. The leaves are still photosynthesizing and providing energy to the bulb. Removing the leaves too early can weaken the bulb. While some tulip varieties can be left in the ground to naturalize and bloom in subsequent years, others may not perform as well and could benefit from being dug up. Once the foliage has died back, gently dig up the bulbs, clean off any soil, and let them dry. Store the bulbs in a cool, dry place over the summer, such as a basement or garage. They can be stored in mesh bags or paper bags to provide adequate air circulation. In the fall, these bulbs can be replanted. The cycle of planting, blooming, and caring for tulips is a yearly rhythm that brings joy and beauty to any garden. Each year offers an opportunity to reflect on what worked well and what can be improved, whether it's trying new varieties or adjusting planting locations. We've explored the journey of planting tulip bulbs, from understanding and selecting the right varieties to planting, caring for, and finally, enjoying their stunning blooms. Planting tulips is more than just a gardening activity. It's an opportunity to bring beauty and color to your outdoor space and a rewarding experience that brightens each spring. We encourage you to try planting tulip bulbs in your garden. Whether you're a novice or an experienced gardener, the process is straightforward and the results truly spectacular. Remember, each bulb planted is a promise of a beautiful bloom to come.